It's a big reason so many people are canceling their long-planned vacations to the island to simply stay out of the way of search and recovery efforts.
That includes a Carlton woman, but as Northern News Now's Cara Kopp explains, it's no easy task.
When the mayor said it's all gone, it's all gone. It's all gone. It's gone.
Amid widespread destruction and a rising wildfire death toll, Hawaii officials are urging tourists to cancel their Maui travel plans.
And it does look like a war zone where Lahaina is concerned.
The once paradise vacation spot burned to the ground overnight. Now Teresa Snyder, who lives in Carlton, is listening to Hawaiian leaders' advice.
It was kind of a bucket list item. We've never been to Hawaii.
Snyder planned her family trip to Lahaina months ago. They were supposed to travel there in October, but now she's working to stop that vacation in its tracks. But when contacting American Airlines, she claims they told her canceling her flight wasn't an option.
They refused to cancel, they refused to let us change our trip, and they refused to refund us. And then I found out on social media that this is happening to other people.
But what shocked her the most, the airline's customer service response.
And he made the comment that, well, actually, resort owners still want tourists to come.
But according to one travel agency based out of Hawaii, that may not necessarily be the case for all businesses on the island.
The infrastructure is not, it's not ready for more people.
Adding that there is no room for tourists on the Maui island for the next few months.
A lot of the hotels, they're closed. I mean, they're housing people who need, a shelter.
A devastating situation that Snyder says should have American Airlines rethinking their policies.
I feel like they're taking advantage at the expense of the people in Maui, and I think that's just rotten.
In Duluth, Cara Kopp, Northern News Now.
Schneider tells us her return flight was booked through Delta. She says they were helpful and offered her a voucher right away.
We reached out to American Airlines for a statement. They told us they are constantly monitoring the situation in Maui, including local government guidance.